Welcome to BNEWS Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, BNEWS reporters Tad Stefanak, Robert Paris, Peter Brown with the weather, Matt DiMarzio with sports, and Ian Cassola with the Community Bulletin Board. The Burlington Police Department is seeking the public's assistance identifying and locating a shoplifting suspect. According to the police information mostwanted.org, the man seen here allegedly stole a total of 7 North Face jackets valued at $700 from Marshalls on November 29th. According to the release, he stole the jackets over 2 trips to the store. The suspect is described as a male with medium build, a light complexion, and as of being of medium height. Anyone with any information is asked to call Burlington Police Detective Tommy Carlson at 781-505-4913. Eversource, the area's energy provider, is seeking permission to raise rates on customers, but will have to do so over opposition from the state's Attorney General. Eversource said in a release it has filed a request with the Mass DPU, Department of Public Utilities, to update its base distribution rates as part of a longer-term plan to modernize the grid. The company said it is requesting new rates to alleviate a revenue deficiency of roughly $60 million for its eastern Massachusetts service area. To do that, it is seeking to raise rates approximately 7%, which would come out to roughly $8.45 per month for the average customer. It is also seeking to raise rates on western Massachusetts customers for similar reasons. Eversource says the rate increases are necessary to pay for improvements the company has already made and to fund further improvements in areas of interest to customers such as green technology and electric vehicle charging. Mass Attorney General Maura Healey, however, is opposing the rate hike. In a statement, she called the rate hikes unjustified utility profits at the expense of customers. Healey said over the 5 years between 2010 and 2015, Eversource's shareholders of common stock received a cumulative return of 89%, yet their customers paid higher distribution rates than similarly situated National Grid customers. 89%, not too bad a return. Town meeting is meeting on Monday on a number of warrant articles. Some of them are long and complicated. Town Clerk Amy Warfield held an informational meeting on a couple of them, and BNews Director Rich Hosford has this report.
On Thursday evening, Town Clerk Amy Warfield hosted an informational meeting to bring interested town meeting members up to speed on a couple of warrant articles before Monday night's session. One of the articles discussed was Article 3, which is proposing updating the town's zoning maps. Proponents, including Senior Planner Josh Morris, who spoke on the article, say the new maps, which include colored areas designated different zonings, are easier to read and much more clear. He said they are a big improvement over the old map, and people will be able to read them much easier.
They can see the differences in the zoning districts. Previously, when the maps were black and white, it was kind of difficult to understand the different zoning districts we have in town, and now it's much easier to understand.
Another article discussed was number 4, which would propose a moratorium on the sale of recreational marijuana in town. This article is being held until the spring, and Josh explained why.
The state legislation voted in December 28th to move back the date at which recreational marijuana can be sold from January 2018 to July 1st, 2018 is when they can receive licenses. So the planning board decided that it might make sense to bring this topic back to the town meeting in May, because we will likely only have an 18-month limit on a potential moratorium on this matter.
When the article does come up, the town and town meeting will discuss possible special zonings for dispensaries, similar to what they did with medical marijuana. One goal will be to ensure dispensaries are not located near sensitive locations.
Because it could be looked upon as a potential sensitive use. There could be discussions with the community. Maybe we would be interested in keeping it away from schools and religious institutions and playgrounds and parks if there was concern with minors and youth.
But could the town limit dispensaries for recreational marijuana altogether?
That's something that we are discussing, I think, with town council and looking at from a legal standpoint. I think that's still a question that needs to be figured out.
There was also a long discussion on Article 5, which asked town meeting to change the zoning of Burlington's landlocked forest from its current general industrial to open space. Proponent Monty Pearson explains why he and those with him feel this is necessary.
The article is designed to meet the needs of the town's future for open space and recreational areas, as well as being available for other municipal uses like cemeteries or water distribution facilities. That's what open space zoning allows. And in addition, what it does is it takes the landlocked forest off of the for sale map for local developers.
The fear of developers is not unfounded. In 2008, a developer did attempt to get permission to purchase and develop the land. Though the bid was unsuccessful, the long discussion about it were seen as a threat by those dedicated to protecting the forest, which is why they want the zoning changed.
If something is zoned industrial, then a developer says, this is a place that's for sale, the town will make a deal with me, it depends on what kind of thing we negotiate. Whereas if the open space parcel is designated that, then the developer knows that the space is being used for recreational activities, that at one time 2/3 of the citizens of the town, no, not citizens of the town, but 2/3 of the town meeting have supported the idea of it being reserved for open space, and they know it's going to be a big fight to go ahead and do some kind of development on that property. And they're going to probably go and say, well, I want to find something that has an easier zoning to deal with.
There was some resistance to the zoning change by 3 members of the Board of Selectmen who argued that a part of the forest might be used to meet municipal needs not allowed under the open space designation. Those pushing for the warrant article don't agree.
Well, there are very few municipal needs that couldn't be done in open space. And I really think that what we want to do is you maximize the value of the landlocked forest, and maximize the value means accepting that it's open space and having it be approached that way so that it's promoted, so that, for example, when new people move into town and they look for open space for their children to do recreational activities and stuff, the town is promoting, go over here and do this. When companies move into town, we're promoting that employees at lunchtime or after work go over to the forest and do some recreation, walk around and have some quality time.
At the Town Hall Annex, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford.
You can watch the full meeting at www.bcattv.org. The community of Burlington and the students at the high school are in for an informative evening with the former athletes. On Wednesday, February 1st, BHS is inviting students and families to hear the story of speaker Chris Herron. Herron, you remember, is a basketball star whose story of recovery from addiction spurred the creation of 2 organizations and now inspires high school students to abstain from drugs and alcohol. Herron was a rising basketball star from Fall River who briefly attended BC before his drug addiction caused him to be expelled from the team and the university. Further failed drug tests and a drug-related arrest dashed his hopes of playing professionally for the NBA. Following a near-death overdose from heroin, Herron has since beaten addiction and has been sober since 2008. Herron founded the Herron Project, a nonprofit dedicated to providing treatment, navigation, and educational and mentoring programs to those touched by addiction. The organization also works to educate people of all ages on the dangers of substance abuse with the motto, one person, one family at a time. Herron will speak to juniors and seniors that day during school. He will also speak to the parents of BHS students at 7 p.m. in the high school. Burlington Schools and the Burlington Police Department have been in concert in recent years with the placement of law enforcement in the hallways of Burlington Academia. School resource officers are responsible for providing security and crime prevention in the schools, as well as educating students in safety and best practices in their future decision-making. Burlington recently placed a new officer at the middle school and elementary levels. BNews reporter Tad Stefanak files this report.
Burlington Elementary Schools and Marshall Simons Middle School have a new school resource officer in the form of the Burlington Police Department's Officer Keith Shepard. who's no stranger to working in the schools with teachers and students.
Well, I've been here in the past as a dare officer. I've been back out on the street for a little bit, working an administrative job. I'm happy to be back in the schools. I enjoy it. I like talking with the parents, the teachers, and the kids. So I'm glad to be back, and I look forward to a good school year.
I asked Officer Shepard about the reason behind having police in the schools.
Mainly as someone who the kids can see there all day long to know there's a presence. We're there to react as any other police officer would for any kind of safety issues. But further than that, we're also there to build a rapport with the kids, get ourselves integrated in the school as best we can, meaning I'm available at the beginning of the day when the buses come in. I like to be there at the lunch times for the kids to walk through the schools, get to know what's going on. I like to introduce myself to the staff that I don't know, staff that I do, work with them in any way I can.
A key point of the school resource officer is the safety curriculum.
We do classes with elementary a certain time of the year. Other times of the year, I do some classes with the middle school as well. At the younger level, we're doing stranger danger. On stranger danger, we're going to talk about strangers today and a few other things. 911, which is safety, basic decision making. As we get into 5th grade, we're talking more about bullying, because bullying, as you know, is a problem nationwide. So we have several bullying classes that we teach to the 5th graders. And then as they get into the middle school, we have classes on dating violence, other classes on decision making and drug abuse. And I work with the health teachers in that respect.
I asked about criminal activities in the schools.
You know, if you see graffiti or any kind of damage at the school, I'm there, I'm available. You know, so it doesn't take a car off the road, so I can definitely go over there and check what's going on. We've got some stuff going on, so I'll look into that further later. Detective Fournier is the school resource officer for the high school. So he'll be over the high school, and he's based out of the high school. We assist each other any way we can in all levels of the school system. So we'll work together and anything like that. But you know, he's usually available for most high school situations.
Burlington students are in safe hands with Officer Keith Shepard and learning some better decision-making along the way. From Pine Glen Elementary and Memorial School, I'm BNEWS reporter Ted Stefanak. Back to you in the studio.
So should you talk to a stranger?
Students at BHS have been given a good opportunity to show their art to the public. Burlington High School portfolio and AP studio art students now have their work on display in a regional exhibition. The Lexington Arts and Crafts Society is inviting the public to attend the 21st Annual Regional High School Artist Show. That's at the Lexington Arts and Crafts Society. It is showcasing work from advanced students in Burlington along with work from students in neighboring communities. They premiered last Saturday, but the show will run through Sunday, January 29, 2017. Gallery hours are Tuesday through Friday and Sundays from 12 to 4 p.m., Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., and the gallery is closed Mondays. The students' artwork will be shown at the Parsons Gallery of Lexington Arts and Crafts Society, 130 Waltham Street, Lexington. The gallery was built with the philosophy of giving local artists an opportunity to exhibit their work. In that same spirit, they give our local student artists the same opportunity. People of multiple faiths gathered at the Burlington Islamic Center earlier this month for panel discussion on their different religions. BNews reporter Robert Parrish has this report.
Historically, the differences in religions have kept people apart, but local people of faiths are trying to change it. Last week, people from different faiths gathered at the Islamic Center in Burlington to have an interfaith panel discussion. 4 different religions participated in the panel discussion, including Temple Shalom Emeth's Rabbi Susan Abramson and the Billerica Ward of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Bishop Jared Kale.
So members of 4 different faiths got together, members of the Islamic community, myself, the Christian community, and together with the Mormon community, which is part of the Christian community. And we all discussed issues about oppression and how our traditions respond to oppression and myths and stereotypes that others have thought about us. So the whole point of it was for us to be able to discuss with each other on the panel, as well as with those who attended, how it feels to be a member of our faith, what experiences we have had in terms of persecution or oppression in the past and right now in the modern day, and what each of our traditions calls us to do to help dispel this kind of activity and these feelings going forward, so that we can all live together as one united community in peace.
So my impression of the event was I thought it was wonderful that we were all able to come together, people from different diverse religions, for one, but as well as different backgrounds, viewpoints. We're all able to come together and for common purposes. One, we're able to educate, help each other come to a better understanding of our differences, and with that, we found that we have a whole lot more in common than we do otherwise. And I think that might have been one of the big successes of the evening.
The panel discussion was an opportunity to give people a chance to learn about other religions.
I think through understanding, we all learned more about each other. The most remarkable thing for me was that there were over 150 people there, and the vast majority of them had never been inside of an Islamic center before. They had never been inside of a mosque. So right there, that dispelled a lot of myths. And just for people to be able to sit inside of the Islamic community structure and just experience what that felt like, as opposed to what their ideas of what it were before they entered. And also we were able to experience a Muslim prayer at the Islamic Center, which really helped people to understand what it was all about, and to actually see people praying in a Muslim way, which helped people understand that it's not so scary or unusual. These are real people acting out their faith, and they deserve our respect.
I think it's wonderful that when we're able to come together, work together for a common cause, especially in the environment that we're in right now, where there seem to be more answers than questions. Sometimes even, where there seem to be more answers than questions, even sometimes more fear than hope. And I believe that as we come together with events like this, we're able to open dialogue and find answers to the questions and help to calm fears that people may have.
There were a lot of topics discussed that night, including the different faiths in the Burlington community.
What we talked about was the relationship between the different cultures that are here in Burlington, and the differences in their cultures, and also the similarities. And then we took a lot of questions from the audience. There were probably about 70 people who came to listen, and we gave them index cards so they could write down their questions and submit them. So we took questions over the last portion of the event.
Finally, what did those behind it hope people would take away from it?
Well, I hope they came away with a greater understanding and appreciation for each other, and I think many people remarked to me how nice the members of the Islamic community were to them, and how welcoming and how warm they were, and I think that went a long way towards bringing us all closer together as a community.
We found in this setting that we don't have enemies. We can all come together. We all have similar concerns. We all have similar desires, and that if we'll show loving kindness toward each other, we can make a big difference when we work together.
Because I think it's important in this day and age for people to be able to bring their feelings and their thoughts to the table, come to the table and communicate them. I was at an event just this weekend, and there was a young woman, she was Muslim, and she said that she's been asked a lot about her religion from people who have a misperception and confuse being a Muslim following Islam with terrorism. And she said to me, you know what? Comparing me to a terrorist is like comparing a KKK member to a Christian. You can't do it. It's unfair. And Christians shouldn't have to stand up and explain, that type of thing, that type of extremism. And this is as remote to me and to my religion, these terrorist attacks and incidents, as that would be. And so, it really resonated with me, because we need to have a place for people to explain they are not me. In that instance where there was, we did this at the mosque with the Muslim faith present.
From the Islamic Center, I'm Robert Paris for BNEWS Weekly.
The Burlington Police Department is offering female residents an opportunity to learn how to protect themselves in the event someone ever tries to assault them. The department is offering a Rape Aggression Defense, or RAD, Women's Self-Defense class that will run from 6 to 9 p.m. on Wednesday nights from February 15 to March 15 in the Kelly Murray wing of the Burlington Council on Aging, or just on March 15. The program is free, and police only ask that students attend all 5 of the classes. Women aged 14 plus can take the program with parents' consent and in the company of a female parent or trusted adult. RAD is a network of instructors who receive training in the tested system according to its website. It has trained more than 900,000 women in self-defense since the program began in 1989. Find a link to the sign-up sheet on our website, www.bcattv.org, and those dates are from February 15th to March 15th, 5 nights. The Burlington Dog Park Committee is hosting a fundraiser by showing a movie. Though it is not the film they originally had in mind, the group had been planning to show A Dog's Purpose as a way to raise money for the upcoming park. However, after behind-the-scenes video was leaked that showed one of the dogs being mistreated during taping, the animal-loving group decided to change course. They will now be holding a screening of the new Lego Batman movie on February 20th at AMC Burlington as a fundraiser. Check out Burlington Dog Park on Facebook for more details. Excuse me. We go now to BNews weatherman Peter Brown in our weather center for this week's forecast. We'll also check out the community calendar with Ian Cassola to see what's happening in Burlington.
Well, hello everyone. This is Peter Brown with a look at your weather for the upcoming period. As we start on Friday, look at this. We're already to January 20th. Can we believe it? We're actually more than halfway through meteorological winter. So for those of you who enjoy spring and warmer weather, those times are on their way. As we start out our period on Friday here, look at this. We're looking at temperatures above normal again, something that we've seen quite a bit of the past 6 to 7 months. Temperatures in the low 40s. Almost 10 degrees above what our average high should be at this time of the year. As you can see, as we get towards the end of the period, look at this. Our average daily highs are starting to increase again, so we are on the upswing in terms of temperatures, that's for sure. As you can notice here by our sunrise and sunset, the days are getting longer, so that's also a great part about getting through towards the middle half of winter. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you a little bit about what's going to be going on with our weather for the next 7 days. As you can see here, looking at this map, I guess you notice something that there's been quite a lack of this winter again. There's not much snow on this map. I'm really looking ahead for the next 7 days. The only spots where we might actually get any snow will be in very far northern New England and parts of southern Canada and Quebec. That's about as close as the snow is going to get. We're actually getting into Monday into maybe as far out as Wednesday. We're going to have a fairly large storm system making its way towards the Burlington area. And this storm looks like it's going to bring us quite a bit of rain. We may be looking, on the average, maybe 3 to 5 inches of rain falling between Monday and Wednesday here in the Burlington area, with maybe some very gusty winds coming. But, of course, we're going to be on the warm side of this system, so we're going to see temperatures in the 40s and 50s again. So if you're a snow lover here in southern New England, our winter keeps going on with just rain and warm temperatures, that's for sure. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you a couple of graphics about what the snowfall looked like at this time in the United States last year. As you can see, last year we had a little bit of snow on the ground here in the Burlington area and across most of New England. Not too much, very similar to this year. As we go ahead to the next graphic, I'm going to show you what our snow cover looks like currently in the United States. As you can see, look at this. There's even less snow on the ground across the contiguous United States, and especially here in southern New England around the Burlington area. Really no snow to speak of on the ground, but I do want to just point out and remember that back in 2012, we actually had not too much, about maybe the same amount of snow on the ground, almost nothing, before we got absolutely clobbered by those big storms. And pardon me, that was back in 2012. That was quite a winter, that's for sure. As we move ahead, I'm going to show you some of those non-winter-like temperatures coming up. Look at this. Again, starting out Friday, temperatures in the low 40s, so actually a fairly pleasant day for January. As we get into Saturday, we see temperatures warming again up into the mid-40s with a chance of maybe a few showers. Cooling it down a bit when we get towards Sunday with partly cloudy skies. And here we go when we get into Monday and Tuesday. And again, we probably should have extended this maybe into Wednesday a little bit. We're going to see pretty chilly conditions actually Monday, and we may see a mix of some rain and sleet to start out our storm system. But as we get through Monday night into Tuesday, look at this. Temperatures warming up near 50 with very, very gusty southeasterly winds. So that's going to really warm us up, but also bring in the chance of very, very heavy but yet beneficial rain to the Burlington area. We get into Wednesday, look at this. Getting probably to the second half of the day, it's going to actually turn out a little bit partly sunny, partly cloudy. Temperatures again in the 50s. As we get even towards the end of the period on Thursday, we introduce the chance of maybe a few more showers and maybe another storm system with rain coming. But look at temperatures again, 48. That's definitely nothing like we're used to seeing in January. So folks, I've got to tell you, if you have the chance, please get out there the next 7 days and especially this weekend, enjoy some of this beautiful January weather we're having, and have a great week.
Hello, and welcome to your community calendar. Looking for some musical entertainment? On Thursday, January 26th, from 7 to 10 p.m., Chops American Bar and Grill is having performer Dave Anthony of Nemus. Dave Anthony and his crew have made their mark on the Boston and larger New England music scene by playing everywhere from subway stations to highly revered rock venues. Led by dual frontmen Dave Anthony and Josh Knowles, the band showcases a true metamorphosis of sound, featuring warm, layered harmonies and one-of-a-kind violin shredding Vannyland describes as fiddle action glory. Everyone is welcomed, and for more info, visit shopsamericanbarandgrill.com or call 781-221-6643. Parents, do you and your children like yoga? On Sunday, January 29th, the Burlington Recreation Department will be having a Parents and Child Yoga and Meditation session. In this class, you and your child will learn and practice yoga basics, breathing techniques, yoga warm-ups, and foundational yoga poses that stretch, strengthen, and balance you. You'll also learn partner yoga poses you can do that will enhance your stretches and enjoyment. This class ends with relaxation and a meditation. The event is $25 for both parent and child. There are 2 sessions. One session is from 11 to noon for parents with children ages 5 through 7, and the other session is from 12:15 to 1:15 p.m. for parents with children ages 8 through 12. The event is in the first and second function rooms at the Rec Department. Pre-registration is required. For more info and to register, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1695. Parents, do your children enjoy writing? On Monday, January 30th at 7 p.m., the Burlington Public Library is having an event called Scribbles. This fun-filled event allows kids to create a journal filled with writing and art. The event is for kids in grades 6 through 12. No registration is necessary. Prompts, art ideas, and supplies will be provided. The event is free. For more info, visit burlington.org or call 781-270-1690. This has been your community calendar. I'm Ian Cassola. Back to you in the studio.
We are well into the winter sports season, and for an update on how the Red Devils sports teams are doing, we go now to BNEWS sports reporter Matt DiMarzio.
Hey everyone, this is Matt DiMarzio here with your weekly sports report. This week in sports was another eventful one for Red Devil teams, but all the news was not great. The track and field teams both brought perfect 4-0 records into their dual meets with Wakefield last week. In what amounted to battles for the Middlesex League Freedom Division titles, both the boys and girls lost close matches against the Warriors. Still, enjoying terrific seasons, the Red Devils are likely going to have to settle for second place. The girls' gymnastics team is off to a terrific start with 3 wins in its first 4 meets, but the Lady Devils were bit by the injury bug, and it was a bad bite. Seniors Joe Samarjian and Caitlin Atwood both are sidelined with injuries and could miss the remainder of the season. Now on the wrestling mat, Burlington keeps producing exciting results. At a tournament last weekend in Weymouth, Sean McGilray won his weight class and Tommy DeRosa was second. Now on the ice, there was plenty to talk about. Last week, the boys hockey team played at Fenway Park as part of Frozen Fenway festivities. The Red Devils lost to Arlington in a contest that didn't count in the standings for either team. In recent games that did count, the boys clobbered Wakefield by a 5-1 score and tied Malden Catholic, last year's Super 8 champ, 1-1. After a slow start, the girls' hockey team has evened its record at 4-4. Its most recent win was a memorable one as the Lady Devils hammered Wakefield 11-1. Now on the court, the boys' basketball team and new coach Phil Connors are making a good bid for the state tournament, with senior Mike DiMartinez leading the way. DiMartinez is currently leading the Middlesex in scoring and is approaching the 1,000 point mark for his career. The girls are working hard, although not having as much success in the win column. Last week, the Lady Devils gave visiting Wakefield all it could handle before losing 41-40. That's all for sports. I'm Matt DiMarzio, and back to you guys in the studio.
Finally, this week we have our new segment, Photo of the Week. This week's chilly photo comes from reader Jitna Gruber, who in this shot of a frosted over car windshield taken during a cold morning on January 16th. Thanks, Jitka, for the great photo, even if it is a reminder that we are in the middle of winter. We'd like to see your photos as well. The photos could be of something you see around town, the weather outside your door, or even photos of your family members. Wildlife and pets are always a favorite, so if you've got some happy puppy videos or some close-ups of red tails or Cooper's hawks or any of the other wildlife, or maybe 40 or 50 turkeys in your yard, please send them along to us. You can email your photos to BCAT at bcattv.org with the subject line Photo of the Week. That's it from the news desk here at BNews Weekly. I'm Phil Gallagher, along with Rich Hosford, Tad Stefanak, Robert Parrish, Peter Brown, Matt DiMarzio, and Ian Cassola. Thank you for joining us.